Good evening, my darling batlings. You're not gonna say anything, JKR?
I would, but the music kind of caught me off guard.
Well, whose fault is that?
Oh god, this song.
I mean, what better music for a day where we're just having like a cozy stream?
Fair. That's fair.
So tonight, to make up for last night's stream being cut off prematurely, I'm going to be playing some Spyro the Dragon, original PS1 version. And if I feel up to it and it's not too late, after that, we'll continue Metal Gear Solid 3. So, yeah, we got a couple things on the docket today. Potentially, at least.
Potentially.
So without further Mountain Dew, let us swap on over here. And here we. Oh, and I got actually selected first before I accidentally boot the wrong game. Here we go. And funny. Here we go.
Let's also get out of the throne room.
Yeah. Good catch.
I have no strings to hold me up, make me fret, or make me frown. I had strings, now I'm free. There are no strings on me.
I've never seen Pinocchio.
Fair.
I've seen some, like, off-brand Pinocchio movie that I can't remember the specific name of which of the many, off-brand Pinocchio movies it was. Because there were, like, fucking hundreds of those things in the VHS days. I just remember my great-aunt got it for me as a gift. I have no idea where she got it from. I have no idea what its actual title was other than just Pinocchio, which makes it impossible to look up.
Let me ask you this. Was it animated or live action?
It was animated.
Okay.
The only distinguishing feature I remember about it is that it had, among the trailers for other products from that same distributor, they had a trailer for an adaptation of The Snow Queen.
Okay, yeah, I vaguely remember the Snow Queen animation, but it's been a long-ass time since I've seen it. It's 6. Or a Dragon's Age.
And the only other thing I remember about it is
what about this Ganasty Gnort?
The audio quality was absolute shit.
Yeah.
I'll take that question. Nasty Nork is a simple creature.
Simple?
Contained in a remote world and is no threat to the Dragon Kingdom.
No threat!
Besides, he is ugly.
Ugly? That does it! This is all the setup you need for a story, folks.
Yep.
Or at least in 1998, this is all you needed.
Yep. Piss off the wrong Nork kid. That's what happens. One's gotta wonder, where exactly did he get that spell?
Somewhere.
Somewhere, yeah. That's all we knew. Is like he had a magic. He's found this magic spell to turn gems into warriors for his cause.
Thank you for releasing me, Spyro. Free 10 dragons in the artisan world. Then find the balloonist. He'll transport you to the next world.
What about Nasty Nork? I'm going after him.
Find dragons first. That's all I can tell you.
But what if we don't wanna?
Yeah, what if we just wanna... Well, actually, I don't... This game's actually not as glitchy as the later Spyro games would be, which means it's not as fun to try and speedrun.
Yeah.
It still has a couple collision bugs, but there's not any, like, really cool skips you can do that I'm aware of. I would totally be up for doing, like, attempting any percent speedrun of Spyro 2 sometime. Because I can pull off, like, a couple of the skips. I haven't practiced enough with it to get stuff like the double jump glitch working 100% correctly.
Yeah.
So I can't do, you know, some of the more basic stuff like skipping the first time you have to pay money bags in the tutorial level.
Oh, yeah.
In Glimmer, where he charges you 100 gems to open the bridge, you can skip that by double jumping from a specific spot. Because double jumping itself is a glitch.
Yep.
But I can do stuff like doing the swimming in air glitch from at least in the Summer Forest homeworld, so I can skip most of Summer Forest and get straight to the first boss fight.
With Crush.
Yeah, I can skip most of Summer Forest and go straight to Crush.
Like, I remember,
There's a couple ways to pull. There's a couple ways to pull that off. I use one of the more convoluted ways.
I mean, I
Which
remember one time.
involves gliding out of bounds through an unsolid, like a not very solid part of the level geometry, and then gliding into the watery areas.
Like, I remember for me, what I did was, like, and this was, like, on the Reignited trilogy, because I did this where it's like, apparently I somehow, I don't recall exactly how I did it, I managed to apparently glide from, like, that one huge-ass gem in the caves that's right by that ladder before you're actually able to, like, climb. So apparently I must have glided from that thing and up onto that platform where the power-up was, used the flying power-up, and actually just bypassed the bridge entirely.
Oh, so so that you can still do that skip in the Reignited trilogy just without the double jump. Interesting. Well, it makes sense because they kept the level geometry as one-to-one as possible, which was apparently a harder task than you would think because they didn't have access to the source data, the source code for the level geometry. So what they had to do was basically like it involved creating their own custom tools for ripping the level geometry data from the final release version of the game.
Yeah.
It's not like the Crash Bandicoot Insane trilogy where they basically just took the level meshes from the original and replicated them with higher quality, with higher poly counts and higher resolution textures.
Yeah.
One of the reasons why it bums me out that we never got a proper Spyro 4 from Toys for Bob. Because they did an excellent job with the Reignited trilogy. I do have some quabbles with it, but nothing, you know, that ruins the experience.
Yeah,
it's mostly just like artistic choices.
Yeah, like for example, that turning those artists
turning the what were obviously supposed to be like hippie artists into like millennials.
Keep an eye on him.
Yeah.
See what I mean?
I mean, it's not like we don't still have stoner artists today. Why is that such a specific thing that needs to be updated?
Right.
I've been to the average American college campus. I know that half the people on there are probably on weed.
Yep.
If not something a bit more psychoactive.
Right.
Okay, one of the things that the Reignited trilogy did that I really like was the way that they updated the balloonist model. Because, like, okay, picture playing this as a kid, and you're viewing this on, like, a very small CRT TV with the standard composite cable, so you're not getting a sharp HD output like I am here.
Right.
I thought this guy was supposed to be a lobster.
Yeah, you're not the only one. I thought the same damn thing.
But no, he's a humanoid guy wearing big, like, mittens.
Yep. Like, I'm a little disappointed in some of the sound design that they did for Reignited. I don't like some of the
some
sound
of the
design,
sound
but-
effects don't quite hit the same, but that's mostly because
Yeah.
they tried to keep the sound effects consistent between all three games. Whereas there was a
Right.
huge sound overhaul in the original trilogy between 1 and 2 that carried over into 3.
Yeah.
Like, compare the Spyro 2 and 3 flame sound effect to just this. Sounds so weak.
Yeah. Like for me, I also remember oh god, the Dreamweavers world, like the home world for Dreamweavers was just those fools. I think that was what they were called, the fools.
Yeah, they were called the Fools.
Yeah, the fools were like, like specifically the armored fools. When you expanded them to like their full size, they made this weird like yodeling
I know
sounds,
what
like,
you're talking about. That like
Yeah.
noise.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think they replicated that for for Reignited, or if they did, they didn't do a very
They
good
did,
job.
but
of
the
it.
way the sound is mixed makes it a lot quieter. And it's also,
Yeah.
different sound entirely because they didn't reuse
Right.
any of the original sound effects due to them being too low quality.
Yeah.
Like, if you want an example of, like, what it sounds like when you use the exact same sound files from a PS1 game in a game that has higher fidelity audio, listen to the crystal and gem collecting sound effect in Wrath of Cortex, which is ripped directly from Crash Bandicoot 3 with audio compression intact. So it's the lowest quality sound in the game.
Yeah. Rescued Linda.
Free a dragon or step on one of their platforms, you're saving your progress. That could be useful if you run into trouble. Not that you ever run into trouble, Spyro.
Going back to like the visual designs, one thing I did like in Reignited
Giving
was,
all the dragons their own unique model.
yeah, and also like for each world, keeping their themes somewhat specific.
Yeah, keeping their visual design specific to like what the purpose, what sort of domain each world specializes in. Like in the artisans world, they're all like either arts or craft or like other or like culinary
Sculptures
themes. Then in like in the Beastmakers world, they all look more like I actually can't remember. That's a bad example. In the Peacekeepers world, they're big and bulky, and
they usually
are
carry like
dressed for
some sort of
battle.
armor. Yeah, like they have armor on them, or sometimes they even carry like weaponry with them. Like I think I remember one having a sword.
I can't remember, but because it's been a while since I played Reignited.
Same here.
But they do kind of do that in the original Spyro. Although it's more so that they create like 1 or 2 base models that each world's dragons share.
Yeah.
That are specific to that world. Like the Beastkeepers dragons don't look like the Artisans dragons.
Right, I remember the Beastmakers world. The dragons there were like big.
Yeah, they're
kinda
like pudgy
fat.
and round, whereas the Artisans dragons are more your typical like European dragon type.
Right.
And then in the Peacekeepers world, a lot of them are quadrupedal or at least hunched over, whereas in the other worlds they're usually standing upright.
How about a hint on
Right.
gliding?
You bet.
For the longest glide, press the X button at the top of a jump, and try pressing the triangle button to drop down in mid-flight.
Also, this is a game that very obviously had a small voice cast, but they make the most of it that they can, which was very common for the time. Metal Gear Solid often gets cited as the turning point for video game voice acting for multiple reasons, one of which was that it had a more expansive voice cast than most fully voiced games of the era had.
Yeah.
Not just the quality of the voice acting, but not having like 2 or 3 people play all the characters.
Right.
Also, only game to feature Carlos Alazraqui as Spyro. And there's an interesting interview you can find with him on one of the PlayStation Underground demo CDs, where he talks about the process of creating the Spyro voice for this game, and how it went through a couple different iterations before they finally settled on how they want Spyro to sound.
Yeah.
Carlos Alazraqui, if you're not familiar with him by name, you'll probably know some of his roles. Rocco from Rocco's Modern Life, Laszlo from Camp Laszlo. If you're familiar with his live action work, then you'll recognize him as a recurring cast member on Reno 911.
Yeah, never seen any of those shows. I've seen clips of Rocco's Modern Life, and I know like the general idea of Camp Laszlo's overall overarching plot, but that's really all I knew about that show. Like I know the big twist at the end.
The big twist at the end is more so just supposed. The big twist at the end was actually kind of ruined by the fact that the twist at the end, they had to change the character model for the Scoutmaster that comes in at the end, because it was originally supposed to be Heifer from Rocco's Modern Life, because the two shows share the same creator.
I remember that, yeah.
But due to Rocco's Modern Life being owned by Viacom and Camp Laszlo airing on Cartoon Network, they couldn't get the rights to use the Heifer character design, so they went with a legally distinct look-alike.
Yeah.
With Tom Kenny providing the same voice that he used for Heifer in that show.
Right.
There's a lot of interesting cases from around that era of Nickelodeon creators leaving and then joining Cartoon Network. Another example where this time their show didn't get past its pilot was the creator of Hey Arnold pitched a pilot to Cartoon Network that I remember watching the one time it aired, called Party Wagon, which was based on set during the westward expansion and the Oregon Trail and stuff like that. It was about a group of misfits traveling westward and through America and causing problems for everyone else who just wants to get to the west.
The dragons through this fancy vortex thingamajigger.
It was a bit too high concept of a thing for a kid's show.
First, let me tell you.
Yeah.
No thanks.
No thanks. See ya.
The story goes that the reason he pitched that to Cartoon Network was because Viacom turned down his pitch for an MTV spin-off of Hey Arnold that would have focused on an older Helga and her family life, and it was turned down for being too dark. So he took his next show idea, Party Wagon, pitched it to Cartoon Network, and that didn't go anywhere, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So he was just kind of left spinning his wheels for a while. Until Nickelodeon finally greenlit the Jungle movie for Hey Arnold that served as a series finale.
Yeah. I remember
it was a series finale that was planned years before, but he never actually got to make.
Yeah. I also know there's a few piloted shows that never really got off the ground because of one reason or another.
Well, in terms of Cartoon Network pilots that never got greenlit, but have, really strong cult followings, well, the biggest is probably Kitty Bobo.
Can't say that I'm familiar with that one.
Kitty Bobo had 2 pilots, and I think only one of them is currently publicly available. The second one was supposed to be, a Kickstarter backer reward to create a new pilot for, more updated pilot for Kitty Bobo. But I don't think it ever got finished. I know it's on the Lost Media Wiki as something that they're searching for. It was a show about the pilot at least was about Kitty Bobo, who's voiced by Dante Bosco, who you would know from a lot of things, but most prominently probably Avatar: The Last Airbender as the voice of Zuko. He gets a cell phone and he makes that his personality. That he owns a cell phone. That should tell you how early 2000s this is.
Yeah.
and just annoys all of his friends with it. I'm describing it horribly. It's better than it sounds.
Like there's one show. I just cannot remember the name of it, but it was like it's something to do with like pain or whatever, and that was like the name of the show, and the character's name, like their last name was Pain.
I could probably find it if I looked it up, because I remember watching like all those Cartoon Network pilots that aired during that era.
I don't know.
Like they did big like weekend long marathons of them where you could call in and vote on which one you wanted to become a full show. The winner of the first, well, technically the first time they did that was in the 90s, where that one was hosted by Space Ghost.
Nice.
And it was less so like a competition and more so just like airing a bunch of pilots for shows that would go on to be picked up, like stuff like Johnny Bravo and that kind of stuff. Whereas the Big Pick Weekend, as it was called, where they aired a whole bunch of potential pilots, the winner ended up being Grim and Evil, because Maxwell Adams pitched 2 pilots, one for Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy and one for Evil Con Carne, and both of them were so popular that they decided to greenlight both of them as one show. Although the Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy segments ended up proving more popular, so they were spun off into separate shows, and then Evil Con Carne only lasted 1 more season due to low ratings.
Yeah. But, like, the reason I know that this one particular show didn't get greenlit, like, I think it was going to be greenlit, but I think the issue was that it came out just around the events of 9/11. So, specifically because there was a scene in the pilot episode where like this girl is apparently piloting her dad's like aircraft blimp something. I don't remember exactly what it was, and like she had to
I know what you're talking about now. Oh god, what was it called? That was a Nickelodeon pilot actually, and the reason it wasn't greenlit was not because of any like post 9/11 sensitivities. It's just because disagreements between production staff and the network on like budgeting for it. Like it needed a high budget for how action-packed of a show it was.
Fair.
Constant Pain, that's what it was called.
Constant Pain, yes, that was it.
It was called Constant Pain, and they were asking for a high budget for, you know, an action-packed show. Viacom was like, we'll give you a shoestring budget.
Yeah. Like, people speculated that the reason why it didn't get greenlit was because of that whole thing with the, you know, the blimp or plane going through between like 2 giant skyscrapers, and it's like, apparently not, that was not the case.
A similar instance that happened with another cult classic pilot from Nickelodeon was The Modifiers.
I vaguely recall The Modifiers, surprisingly enough.
The Modifiers has a big cult following for 2 reasons. 1, being one of the best pilots that Nickelodeon ever passed up on. And 2, because there's a hentai parody of it by Zone that expanded on things a bit, including the first time Zone ever got new dialogue commissioned for one of their parodies.
And when you say Zone, you're referring to like as in Zoneton, that
Zoneton is the mascot. Zone Sama is the artist behind everything.
That makes sense. I'm just trying to make sure that's the same
Zoneton
individual.
is like the public-facing mascot who hosts ZTV News, whereas Zone themselves is like an anonymous artist that they're on Twitch, but they don't use their voice being heavily filtered through a robot filter and use a custom robot model for themselves.
Nice. That makes sense.
They do a lot of VR chat stuff. And the reason we say they is because like a lot of people assume, probably correctly so, that Zone's a man. But even back in the days when Zone was like hosting on Newgrounds, they left their gender unidentified in their bio.
Right.
Cool Flash, do that again.
The artisan's boss is through a portal behind me. You can challenge him now, if you feel you are ready.
I don't
They
know,
actually
Ari, do we
changed
feel-
some of the dialogue in Spyro 1 in very subtle ways that you might not have noticed, other than, you know, changing stuff like use the L2 and R2 buttons to more generic terms.
Yeah.
Like, you know, obviously they also took the ones that originally only said thank you for releasing me and gave them actual stuff to say, which I think
Right.
is a cool and very smart change. But for all the boss stages, they rewrote the dialogue, so they referred to the boss by name instead of just saying this boss. Like, when you go to fight Toasty, in the PS1 version, he's like, this boss has many tricks up his sleeve. Whereas, in Reignited, he says, Toasty has many tricks up his sleeve.
Yeah, I remember that. I was actually going to ask you, is like, I don't know, Ari, do we feel like we're ready to face Toasty?
I mean, we could at any point. I just tend to do the bosses last.
I mean, that's fair. That's the most logical thing to do.
Because the bosses are barely bosses. They're more so levels with a square fight at the end. Thank you for following Lavender Vulpix. I like
Welcome,
your
Lavender.
username.
Yes, welcome, Lavender Vulpix.
We're just having
Please.
a little cozy nostalgia night tonight. Maybe playing some Metal Gear Solid 3 later.
Yep, just a couple of bros, just listening to, you know, one playing Spyro, one watching, and enjoying every minute of it.
Town Square is a stage that I have a lot of nostalgia for because I didn't get Spyro 1 as a kid until, like, after Spyro 2 had already come out.
Yeah.
So I often played demos for Spyro 1. Either through the one PlayStation Underground disc that I had, or through the interactive CD sampler Volume 8, I believe it was. This is my fave game of all time, so I had to give a follow, so nostalgic. Oh, thank you. This is actually this is a pivotal game for me in my childhood, because it's the first video game I saw extensive advertising for as a kid in 1998 that really hooked with me, like that and Pokemon, the original Pokemon games. And it's the game that made me want a PlayStation. Even though as I just said, I wouldn't get Spyro 1 until a bit later. Because my dad, bless his heart, he was like, okay, my kid wants a PlayStation. I know that he said a lot about, Spyro the Dragon, so I'm gonna get him Tarzan as his first game. Which, you know, wasn't a stupid choice because I was really into Disney's Tarzan at the time.
That's fair. I remember me getting, like, for me, what happened was I didn't play Spyro 1 when it came out. Surprisingly enough, I didn't even, like, I played Spyro 3 sometime after it had already been out because my late cousin, may he rest in peace, like, loved the kid to death, but he was like one of those game hogs where it was like he would always be like, you know, oh yeah, I'll let you play.
Yeah, I can relate to that. That's the woman that my dad was dating at the time had a son that I'm kind of glad ended up not becoming my stepbrother. He was a total game hog, wouldn't let me play any games with him because he just didn't really want to associate with me, which, you know, fair enough. If I do have to thank him for one thing, though, it's that when I got my PlayStation as, I believe it was either a birthday gift or, like, for lack of a better term, graduation gift for getting through whatever grade I was in at the time, he gave me his copy of Crash Bandicoot Warped.
Nice.
And his copy of Cool Borders 2. Crash Bandicoot Warped I instantly got interested in. Cool Borders I've never liked. It controls like shit.
Well, that was fast.
Yeah, I can get the thieves in this game pretty easily. At least for the first few worlds.
Yeah.
If there's one thing that I have to appreciate Spyro 1's design for that was abandoned from Spyro 2 onwards, it's that you can complete every level your first time visiting it, instead of having to backtrack for like 1 or 2 things. That's a kind of level progression that I like. Well, I don't think it's necessarily better or worse in Spyro 1 or Spyro 2 and 3, but Spyro 2 makes it a lot more egregious. That's like, oh, we just really held this one thing back to force you to come to this level again. I'm looking at you, Alchemist and Hunter. I'm looking at you, Fracture Hills in general.
Like, honestly, I love Fractured Hills, but only after you get, like, that permanent Super Flame power-up.
The fact that the permanent Super Flame carries over to new save files blew my mind as a kid.
Yeah, it was funny to me.
I had never played a game where it's like, oh, you get 100% completion and it lets you just bullshit your way through your next playthrough. That's so awesome.
Yeah, I was not even aware of that, like, as a kid, because it was like, it wasn't something that kind of caught my attention. I don't know why, but apparently whenever I wanted to replay the game from the ground up, I would always just open a new save file. I never bothered to overwrite the original, because I was like, oh, you know, I got these many slots, might as well use them.
Spyro 2 was also the first game that I ever 100% completed as a kid, so that was a big deal for me. I think the same. It was so cool when I finally got to see what was behind that big door in Dragon Shores.
Yeah, same here. And like, I remember, like, going back to Fractured Hills, like, everything had been reset, of course, for the level and everything. And I just loved the fact that I didn't even have to, like, you know, push the earth earth shakers. I think
the earth shakers, you could just blow them up.
Yeah, it's like, just blow them to Kingdom Come. I was like, that was hilarious to me. It's like,
it also let you just it was also a way that you could cheese your way past needing the climbing power up for hey, Shiba. Glad to see you
Shiba.
here. I saw your message detailing you know, I'm happy that the kitty is home safe and sound, and the video you sent me was adorable. I hope you actually stick around for a bit tonight, Shiba, because I decided that if I'm feeling up to it and it's not too late, I may stream some more Metal Gear Solid 3 tonight. And we're about at that part that I told you about, which has a scene that has, like, the most impressive and realistic booba physics in any video game ever, and it peaked in 2004 with Metal Gear Solid 3 for one specific cutscene and not the rest of the game. Because I know Shiba would be very interested in seeing this impressive animation. The video I sent was super adorable too. I'm glad you thought so. I played that for my mom, and like the thing is, like, if you play it on like an actual iPhone, it pitches down. Like, the video in question is I record my dog Olive barking in slow motion. Because newer iPhones let you record in slow-mo as like a little gimmick feature. And if you play it on iPhone, it's like slowed down like it would be in a video editor, where it like deepens the pitch and it makes her sound like a fucking bat out of hell. But when I uploaded it to Discord, it just like kept the pitch normal. So instead of sounding like a demon, she sounds like a ghost wail. She sounds like, you know, a ghost wailing, going like,
yeah.
Like, it's funny in two different ways, depending on what device you're watching it on, and, you know, whether you're watching it through Discord or not. I keep forgetting that you have the combat dodge in this game, and
oh yeah,
almost rolled off the edge there.
Yeah, don't do that.
This is like the only stage where the combat roll comes in handy. Which is why I understand why they took it out of the sequels, but it's cool that they put it back for all 3 games in Reignited, even though, once again, there's not really a use for it.
Yeah. Bad dog.
There are no bad dogs, only bad owners.
Yes, and I feel bad for those dogs. Let's see.
Also, the VOD for the Choicer Voicer should be up by now, obviously.
Yeah, it uploaded just as it actually popped up just as soon as you started
I
the
actually
stream.
contemplated not uploading that VOD because it got cut off abruptly, but I was like, no, there's too many good moments in it to not upload.
Yeah.
I did cut out like the very end of where I ended up stopping recording and streaming on my end when my internet died, because it was just like me getting frustrated at my ISP, and I didn't want that to be the end of the video.
Which is fair. Which is fair. I don't think that would have been something that would have been worth putting up there. It definitely seemed like
Instead,
all
I
the
just put in like a little, title card that says, "And then my internet died."
Yeah. Also,
you're sad you missed the. I'm not done streaming GTA yet, so there's still more to come with that. I'm probably not going to continue Grand Theft Auto 3 because I feel like that one's not really hooking me. Partly due to it having less emphasis on story compared to, I know the sequels have like a character who is an actual character instead of just a blank slate to project your criminal fantasies onto.
Yeah.
So I'm probably gonna skip ahead to Vice City.
Many tricks up his sleeve.
But so Shiva, if you don't mind me asking, like, what happened with the putty cat? With the putty tat?
Her cat ran away, but he's back home safe and sound.
Oh, that's good. Glad to hear. Yeah, I heard that. I heard about it being back safe and sound. I was like, what the heck happened? I was
Kitty just got loose.
But
Kitty got loose, but Kitty's back home now. That's what's important.
That's good.
I've had that happen before with cats that I've owned. One of the cats we had was an outdoor cat. For most of her life up until her final years. And like apparently some of our neighbors in the neighborhood that we were living in at the time didn't understand that she was an outdoor cat that had owners and took her in as their own. And we found out about that, and my mom was not happy about that. Because it's like, you fucking stole our cat.
Rightfully so. I can actually... I would actually agree with your mom on that one. It's like, yeah, that's something to be pissed about.
All right, so... Oh yeah, I almost forgot. We've got to do the... They're called flights in this game, but I usually just refer to them as speedways, because that's what they would end up calling in end up calling them in future installments.
Yes, Trixie. Bro.
Spro. I agree, Trixie Toppings. Also, hello, welcome. Spro.
Can we call you Trixie, or do you prefer Trixie Toppings? Either way, we're good.
His name is Cowboy. I love that. I will read that message in a sec, because I need to focus on getting all these in the time limit now. I know there's more optimal ways to do Sunny Flight, but this method usually works for me. Just going through them in order.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense.
Like, yeah, I don't get the best time. I usually finish it by the skin of my teeth, which is a phrase I've never understood. Your teeth don't have skin.
I didn't even know the human teeth had skin.
News to me. Maybe it's a human thing, since I'm, you know, I'm half vampire, half elf. Human bio. A lot of things about humans confuse me.
Trust me, I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know much either about humans either because not from this dimension.
It's totally not me. It's totally not me using an in-character explanation for my autistic ass not understanding basic human interactions. What are you talking about? But yeah, skin of your teeth. Like, your teeth aren't supposed to have skin normally, so...
That's a bit weird.
If your teeth do have skin, you should probably get that looked at. It probably means that your gums have overtaken the bone. Sometimes you don't have teeth at all. Oh, so you're like Peppa Pig. You have retractable teeth.
Or like,
I'm
thinking...
not even joking. Look at Peppa Pig. In some shots, she has teeth, and in others, she doesn't. Which means, obviously, they must be retractable.
Like, honestly, I'm thinking like freaking.
The more you think about the more you think about the physiology of the Peppa Pig universe, the more disturbing this children's show gets.
I was actually more so thinking like Night Furies from How to Train Your Dragon because they've got retractable teeth.
Never seen How to Train Your Dragon.
Fair.
I missed out on a lot of the later DreamWorks movies. Not out of, like, lack of interest in seeing them, just I don't go to the theater very often. And I prefer seeing movies in theaters rather than seeing them at home. It's a different experience.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's
unless
fair.
it's a, if it's a movie I really want to see, I'll try to see it in theaters. Sometimes I'm okay with seeing them at home, like, limited time screenings I never go to. Because I feel like that's a bit too much of an ask to have to drive to a specific part to like a specific town that's never near me just to see one movie.
Marco the Balloonist. Well done, Spyro. I didn't think you could
just
do
have
it.
a beak sometimes is all you meant? Ah, I see. I always choose stay here on accident. I'm used to no being the second dialogue choice in a lot of games.
Don't you have like maybe 1 or 2 more worlds to finish?
Not in Artisans. Oh yeah, that's right. I gotta do Dark Hollow.
Yeah, I was like, wait, you skipped out on Dark Hollow, dude.
Damn, I gotta oh well, time to go back. I keep forgetting. I always forget about Dark Hollow in general.
Welcome to Peacekeeper, Spyro. Look how our treasure is.
Haven't you heard of lips? I guess that would be the skin of your teeth if you think about it.
What treasure? Got it.
This discussion of like teeth and beaks and lips and stuff reminds me of one of the dumbest things I ever read in a gaming magazine that has always stuck with me all these years later. It was an old issue of PlayStation Magazine back when there were 2 official PlayStation magazines. There was Official PlayStation Magazine, and then there was PlayStation Magazine. The difference was Official PlayStation Magazine was more professional, whereas PlayStation Magazine was more, like, targeted towards, like, the jackass crowd. They had, like, annual swimsuit issues where they would hire an artist to draw different video game characters in bikinis. Basically the kind of thing that Cat Icarus talked about in his video on the UK PlayStation magazine.
Yeah.
Except that wasn't the only official PlayStation magazine in our country. But they used to have a segment for a period when I first started reading them called Ask the 800-Pound Gorilla. Where the 800-pound gorilla was just one of their, columnists in a gorilla costume.
Oh, jeez.
Without even wearing the mask, so he just had, the gorilla body. And it was like a column dedicated to answering the stupidest questions sent in that month. And the one that sticks with me is, if a chicken had lips, could it whistle? And his answer was no, because chickens are tone deaf. That's why they taste so good.
Gosnold. Okay, that's an odd name, but okay. Hey, I'm not name shaming. I'm just thinking that's weird, but you know, I've heard weirder. But yeah, like honestly, to quote Brock from Pokemon,
it's a command. He's telling you to go snold yourself.
The PlayStation Magazine, the official PlayStation Magazine. Honestly,
there?
I was gonna say, yeah, I'm good. You okay?
Yeah, you just sound like you're a little bit delayed behind me. Maybe some Discord fuckery.
Yeah, I think
in,
Discord
like, it's
fuckery,
taking a little bit for things to reach you.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, I love American internet infrastructure, especially down here in the good old South.
Yeah, me in the Midwest, not much better.
But yeah, as Trixie Topping said, it's a command. He's telling you to go snold yourself. Watch it turn out that snold is like some sort of inside joke with the Insomniac developers of the time, like how the Dr. Shemp boss was apparently an inside joke about like a phrase that they would use for someone who got stuck with the shittiest part of the job was called get someone always getting the Shemp.
Yeah.
And they would always hide like the exact same poem on the disc's contents that you can only read by putting it in a PC.
Like for me, it was always funny because it's like after watching enough of the Three Stooges, like I was always like, you know, Dr. Shemp, he doesn't look anything like that Stooge. He doesn't go eat meep meep. So why the?
But
like that was
maybe he's a fake Shemp.
Yeah, I mean there have been fake
there were
Curlys,
fake Shemps in the Three Stooges.
Oh yeah, I forgot there were. But yeah, like when you were referring to
also it could be worse. It could be worse. It could be he could have been named after like Curly Joe.
No, honestly,
Besser.
Curly Joe was Joe Besser is the one you can't. Nobody could stand. I
always played
Joe
as
Besser.
Fem Shemp. Fellow Mass Effect fan, I see. Also, yes, even though I did all my initial playthroughs even though I usually do my playthroughs as male Shep just so I can romance Tally throughout the trilogy. Well, starting from Mass Effect 2, I should say. Jennifer Hale turns in a better performance than Mark Meir does.
Yeah.
Although
yeah,
Mark Meir has some good lines too, like his version of "You big stupid jellyfish."
But yeah, so
and also his I'm Commander Shepard and this is my favorite store on the Citadel. Just the most unenthused sounding way he says it. I feel like that hits better than I feel like that hits the like forced marketing speak better than just slightly better than Jennifer Hale doing a more earnest sales pitch.
Yeah. Like honest, but yeah, when you were mentioning the whole PlayStation Magazine, official PlayStation Magazine, I was gonna say is like, you know, to quote Brock from Pokemon, the difference was like when you said it was like there's a difference, and I was gonna say is like to quote Brock from Pokemon, it's official.
Well, I mean, the other difference is that official PlayStation Magazine every month would come with demo discs that were exclusive to that magazine, whereas PSM, as it was called for short, would only occasionally have demos, and it would be a demo for one specific game that Sony was hyping up. Like, the only demo disc I ever got from PSM was a demo for the original God of War. that had like most of the Hydra battle, like that whole opening stage up until the actual fight with the Hydra, and then it would end.
Oh yeah.
Like right before you actually got to fight the Hydra.
Yeah, they knew how to blue ball you back in the day.
Yeah, that's what demos were usually good at.
Yep.
Like the Spyro demo, it didn't even let you play all the levels in the Artisan's world.
Yeah,
Like, depending on which demo you were playing, it either only had Stone Hill and Dark Hollow, or it only had Town Square and Sunny Flight.
Oh yeah.
Not actually a Mass Effect fan. The joke was just right there. Still respectable. You saw an opportunity and you took it. We appreciate that kind of humor on this on these streams.
Yes, we do.
And yes,
Anybody
Jennifer Hale is a treasure.
Yes, she is. Like, I actually, I've told this story a multitude of times, but damn it, I'm telling it again.
You got new people to tell it to.
Exactly. But yeah, a few years back, I can't remember exactly what year this was. I think it was 2018. But I went to a local convention that I usually frequented almost every year.
Your secret safe.
When I heard Jennifer Hale was going to be there, I knew exactly what I was going to have her sign for me. My copy of the complete series of a little-known TV show that unfortunately never got past the first season, called Skeleton Warriors.
I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to stop you here. You said the name of the show wrong. It's not Skeleton Warriors, it's Skeleton Warriors!
Yes. What can I say? They're bad to the bone. But yeah, so like Jennifer Hale actually, when I heard she was gonna be there, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna bring my copy of the series to have her sign, because I knew she voiced a character on that show. Surprisingly enough, actually one of the main characters, Talon. And if I recall correctly, her character's real name actually was Jennifer. Talon was just her code name. But regardless, anyway, I remember taking the thing to her booth and showing it to her. She didn't see it at first, but her handler did. And her handler was just like, I've never even heard of this show. And Jennifer Hale said, is like, she was like shocked to see that somebody actually brought that to her. And she's like, oh wow, I remember working on this. And she told me and her handler, like, this was actually, and I think she said this was her second ever voice acting gig that she actually managed to snag. It could have been her third. I don't remember if she said second or third, but I know it was like one of her first. And that was just like, to me, I was thinking like, yeah, that's awesome that I unintentionally brought her something that not a lot of people would bring, or not even a lot of people would even know about.
I've done I like to bring stuff to voice actors that I am pretty sure that they don't get to sign very often when I get to meet them at conventions. Like, the most recent instance of that was when I met Paul St. Peter at a convention a few years ago. I told this story on stream recently when I was streaming Brave Fencer Musashi. I'll tell it again. Paul St. Peter, who you might know, depending on your age range, you might either know him as Xemnas from Kingdom Hearts, or you might know him as Wormmon from Digimon.
Yeah.
My introduction to him was as Pure Flatsky, the main villain of Brave Fencer Musashi. And because that game has a surprisingly all-star voice cast for such an unknown game.
Right.
And I had a copy that I had held onto for a while, complete in box. And I took it there. Well, I got him to sign my Digimon box set. I also got him to sign Brave Fencer Musashi. He looked at me suspiciously and asked me, "You're not going to sell this on eBay, are you?" I assured him that I wasn't, and I still haven't.
Yeah.
even though that game could fetch me a pretty penny. I still refuse to sell it.
That's good. You know what?
And he said I was only the second person ever since he's been touring the convention circuit to ask him to sign a copy of Brave Fencer Musashi. If I ever get to meet Steve Bloom again, I'm going to get him to sign that. Because the first time I got him to sign my Toonami soundtrack, the official Toonami Deep Space Base soundtrack from the Tom 2 era.
Yeah.
And he did a different thing than most people do, which was rather than, taking out the leaflet that's in there that also serves as the cover art and signing that, he signed the disc itself.
Nice.
So if for whatever reason I lose or break the case, I'll still have his autograph. There's also the story of, I posted this on, there was a thing going on Blue Sky in the VTuber community where it was, short introductions with just random facts about yourself, and one of them that I shared was that one time Steve Blum ate my wig hair, and that's true.
Yeah.
I caught it the convention that he was at. This was 2013, 2014. No, wait, it was 2012. Duh. I was cosplaying Gakpo, the Vocaloid character. We caught him coming out of... Me and my friend caught him coming out of the opening ceremonies.
Marks the Dragonfly has been doing a good job protecting
And,
Make sure to keep him strong.
he did not gain one for all because this was before My Hero Academia came out. And I also haven't seen that show, but I still recognize the reference.
Yeah.
We caught him, asked him for a picture, and he's like, sure, but I got one condition. Can I put some of your wig hair in my mouth while we take the picture? And I have that picture proudly saved. Because I'm not going to say no to Steve Bloom.
No, hell no.
The man's too sexy for me to say no to.
It's funny for me is one thing I remember I wanted to do recently, but unfortunately didn't get the opportunity to because I got sick. Fan Expo, Wade Knight was going to be there. And for me, it was I know a lot of people were going to be like, oh yeah, they're going to have him sign something from Seinfeld or whatever, or Jurassic Park. And I'm like, yeah.
Buzz Lightyear Star Command, right?
Yep. He was the voice of evil Emperor Zurg.
Fire at the planet of widows and orphans! That's still one of my favorite lines of his.
Yeah, right. Target the planet of widows and orphans! There he is! I knew that would get him. Oh god, I love that movie. Come on, Connor, what the hell?
Well,
We're chasing him.
Spyro. Keep up the good work, and I know
given that this was a year before SpongeBob debuted, I can't help but hear in both Crash Warped and in Half the Dragons in this game, I just can't help but hear Mr. Krabs in all of the characters that Clancy Brown voices in those games, except for Cortex. But I can definitely hear some Mr. Krabs in his Uka Uka.
Oh yeah, definitely.
That's right, Paul St. Pierre did voice Kurama, the Nine-Tailed Fox. I keep forgetting about that because it's been ages since I've watched Naruto. I stopped following it around the time I got into college, or just graduated high school, I should say. So I didn't see most of the end of the series. Most of Shippuden, really. But I'm I'm familiar through discourse that was going on at the time with how stuff played out. I also know as a little gag that Team 4-Star did in one of their creator commentaries, which I know when Boruto came out, there was a little bit of discourse about should his name be romanized as Boruto or Bolt, because either one would technically be correct. It's well, if you're going to call him Boruto or Bolt, it would also technically be correct to romanize as Bort, and therefore romanize his father's name as Nart.
Yeah, like another thing is like another thing I was gonna have autographed that I don't think a lot of actors would actually sign often would have been my copy of the Covenant of Primus, and I would have had Mark Hamill sign it. But you know, Mark Hamill was like $400 at Fan Expo. I was like, yeah, I'm unemployed and also a full-time student, so I can't exactly afford that right now.
I'm just unemployed.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm unemployed and I make like $50 to $60 every 3 or 4 months off of Twitch.
Yeah. Yeah, at least you make something, dude.
I don't mean that as like give me money. I just mean that as like I mean that in a self-deprecating funny way.
Yes. Yes, I know, but I'm just saying, it's like, you know, technically I'm in a worse position than you are, because I ain't got no money coming in what's the fucking ever. Well, then again, it's because I don't put myself out there. Why would I do that?
I'm just waiting for it to click with you. The way that you phrased it.
Yes, I know exactly why. I know exactly what you're talking about, dude. I'm laughing at the fact that I did the whole. I was like, yo, god damn it, why did I do that? Why did I walk right into that?
I would say open mouth insert foot, but it's more open mouth insert
Don't do
genitalia.
it, don't. I hate you.
Lord Pegatron strikes again.
Ay, 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 ay. I'm never gonna live that down, am I?
You've been calling Naruto Nort for a while. He does have a Xehanort inside him. You're technically correct. The best kind of correct. Also, I love from the time that I met Paul St. Peter. He is fully aware of how the fandom calls Xemnas man sex, and he approves of it. He also shared an interesting detail with me that has forever changed the way that I look at Xemnas' character model in Kingdom Hearts 3, which is like a story he shared about the recording process for it that also influenced the way that the character was modeled to make sure that the mouth movements were properly in sync. He said that when he was recording his dialogue for Xemnas for Kingdom Hearts 3, they also had a camera set up to record his mouth movements so they could perfectly map his mouth movements to his dialogue for the English dub. And if you look like Paul St. Peter brought this to my attention, and well, to everyone's attention, that was at his panel, and he said that his front 2 teeth are crooked. And they actually replicated that in Xemnas' Kingdom Hearts 3 model for cutscenes. So if you look very closely at his top 2 front teeth, they're slightly askew in the same way that Paul St. Peter's are, due to the way that they did the facial and voice capture for that game. And I just think that's a neat detail. He also then covered his mouth when he said that because he didn't want everyone to stare at his crooked teeth.
Is that you, Spyro? Are you the young dragon I've been hearing so much about? Ever since you're a wee puff of smoke, we've known,
You've known?
I forget.
Okay, old man.
Well, I mean, he's not the worst old man we've had yet.
Oh, that's true. Lest we forget. Oh God. Actually, I take that back. I was about to say let's
Just
forget
any of
Thor.
the old man dragons that all they have to say is "Thank you for releasing me."
Yeah, specifically Thor. That one dragon, because I remember this specifically because
my former friend, his favorite, apparently his favorite god to worship was like, it was really just the fact it's like he's an atheist, but he was more so like, he always liked to joke that he worships Thor, the god of thunder, specifically Marvel's Thor. So he was like whenever at one point in time where when the PS4 was still allowing you to actually take screen caps and post them on Facebook, I tagged him in it and then said, it's like, see your precious god in dragon form. And it's like the whole scene where it's like, he's like an old dragon with a couple of pots, and he's like, thank you for releasing me. And immediately his response was like, the fuck? Because he never played Spyro the Dragon, so he was like unaware as to what the hell he was looking at. But seeing like that reaction was just priceless to me.
Thank you for releasing me was my favorite thing in this game as a very small child. See, it didn't click with me until I was an adult that they say thank you for releasing me so damn much. Partly because I didn't complete this game until I graduated high school. I would get, like, not just counting 100% completion, like, I would get stuck at the final boss fight with Nasty Nork.
Oh, yeah.
It was that final section where you have to chase him down while platforming over the lava pits that I would always get stuck on. And I just stopped playing it until I was an adult, had refined my skills some more, gave it a shot, and beat it on my first try.
Nice. Yeah, Nasty Nork's always been a bitch to beat because of one, you have to fucking chase him down. Two, you have to spray fire at him at the right possible moment before he turns around and runs again. And then three, you have to jump across those platforms above lava, and then all just to burn his ass. Yes, Ekum Bookum indeed.
Yes, that's deserving of an Ekum Bookum.
Yes.
I should totally stream Banjo-Kazooie again sometime. I'd have to start over from the beginning because I don't have that save file anymore.
Yeah.
One of the faults of playing with an older N64 flash cart.
I don't know if I was ever actually present for one of your Banjo-Kazooie streams.
Oh, it was before I started having co-hosts on. It was like early in my streaming career.
Oh, okay. That probably explains a lot then, because yeah, I try to support you wherever I can, dude, but sometimes I just, like, back in the day, I was like,
It was also in the middle of the day, I believe.
That would also probably explain a lot because I was doing shit that day, and didn't realize you were streaming until, like, you had already finished, and I was like, oh, man, dude, I'm so sorry.
Like, it was when I was still trying to get to affiliate. That was the last time I streamed Banjo-Kazooie.
That's fair. Oh god, this was one of the things that I never saw as a kid.
Yeah, I never figured out how to get there as a kid, but I can do it by heart now.
Yeah.
Incredible glide, Spyro. I thought I'd be stuck here forever with those ugly vultures standing on my head. Those birds might look tough, but they're pretty tasty. Flame broiled.
He's making me hungry.
Well, that makes one of us.
He's making me hungry for chicken tendies.
Once again, that makes one of us.
That dragon was Clancy Brown too. Clancy Brown's like half the characters in this game.
Yeah.
He really isn't. Spyro isn't even SpongeBob yet. Yeah, one of the funniest coincidences is that Spyro 2 came out the same year that SpongeBob did, and you can hear Tom Kenny voicing the Electrolls in that game too, and he basically just uses his early SpongeBob voice for the Electrolls before Nickelodeon put in his contract that he's not allowed to use the SpongeBob voice for any non-SpongeBob characters.
Yeah.
Because it was before SpongeBob became the bread and butter of Nickelodeon.
Right. Or basically just became Nickelodeon.
Or should I say the crab legs and tartar sauce?
I was just gonna say, it's like at this point in time, you could just say it's become Nickelodeon.
I mean, what even is Nickelodeon anymore? Everything premieres on streaming now.
Yeah.
I mean, they show the Super Bowl on there. They had a really underwhelming Kids' Choice Awards that didn't even have like actual hosts. It was just CGI SpongeBob characters that looked really bad.
Yeah. You know, that's like so many other reasons.
I still think it's funny that there's a Kids' Choice Award for like lifetime achievement, and they've only given it out to 2 people in the show's history that's been going on for about 30 years now. Those 2 people are Dan Schneider and the fictional character Optimus Prime.
Yeah, not the voice behind Optimus Prime, specifically Prime, the character himself.
They didn't give it to the fucking creator of SpongeBob, Steven Hillenburg.
Yeah, you would think they would have, since it's become the frickin', mascot of their platform. Also,
Spyro sure does like fairies in this game, though. Yeah, he keeps getting kissed by them and turning all red. He keeps getting all hot and bothered every time he's kissed by a pretty fairy. My joke was that he's Mr. I did not even make that connection. You are correct. I keep forgetting that Carlos Alazraqui voiced Mr. Crocker, because I just don't think about Fairly Odd Parents all that much anymore. Anytime I'm thinking of stuff related to Butch Hartman, it's usually related to the Oaxis scam. Or like whatever bullshit drama he's gotten himself involved in this week. Another thing you're missing in this level, but you don't want to just backseat me. I appreciate that. I don't have any strict no backseating rules, but I'm open to hints on what I need to do if it's taking me like an agonizingly long time to do something obvious. Like I know I need to get the key to that chest. I just honestly part of the reason this is labeled as a cozy stream tonight is because I am, like, brain no worky, so I can't remember if I got the key. I do have the key. Okay, so I just have to open that chest. Okay. Thank you. I couldn't remember whether I got the key or not. Partly because Spyro 1, as much as I love Spyro 1, it's the one of the trilogy that I go back to the least, because it's the most formulaic to play through. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. Predictability can be a good thing in a game. I just feel like I know that people are very split on the shift from like focus level to level gameplay with no backtracking to a mission-based structure that the sequels would take. I'm more of a fan of the latter, but the former works as well. I just think it's a little undercooked compared to other 3D platformers on the market at the time, especially Banjo-Kazooie, now that I've finally gotten to play that after not growing up with an N64.
Yeah.
Although what it does have over Banjo-Kazooie is that you never need to backtrack.
That's fair.
And it has an actual reward for 100% completion that wasn't scrapped due to hardware revisions.
Yeah.
You show your ass, you burn your ass. That's how it works, dude.
I mean, I've heard of hot foot. Never heard of hot butt. Well, I've heard of people having hot butts. I'm not much of an ass man, so I'm not one to judge. But one of the details in the Peacekeepers world that I really like is if you just stand off in the distance and watch the cannon norks, they'll fire the same cannonball back and forth between each other's cannons.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the way that the enemies interact with each other in Spyro 1 is something so cool and innovative that they just never really did again.
No,
in favor
I
of
don't.
enemies being single-mindedly focused on you.
Yeah.
You thought you'd let me know my game audio was desynced? Thanks for letting me know.
Oh shit.
Let me check some settings. Might be set to the wrong capture resolution. No, that's right.
What am
Yeah,
I
the game audio the game audio desyncing is more so an issue with the capture card that I have, unfortunately. Like, all these years later, they still haven't fixed it. I'm due for a new capture card sometime soon anyway. I'm using a now outdated AverMedia Live Gamer Extreme, and they just don't have a good solution for the gradual audio desync that happens over the course of a like hour-plus long streamer recording.
Oh jeez.
And
Like,
it's something that only happens with OBS, and we don't know whether it's on OBS's end or whether it's on the capture card's end. Neither one of them wants to take responsibility for it. It's just like the way to most easily fix that desync would be to get an internal capture card instead of a USB based one. But I'm not confident in my ability to install an internal capture card in my PC without fucking something up.
Yeah, that's fair.
You think I'm back in sync now, though? Yeah, it's something that like comes and goes. And a lot of USB capture cards have this issue. Like Elgato like the Elgato cards on the market now have it. This specific AverMedia card has it. And there's just not really a good solution to it other than just hoping it fixes itself.
Yeah. What kind of capture card did you say you were using?
The AverMedia Live Gamer Extreme. Which is a few years out of date now. They have a newer model that has better performance, but if I do get another capture card, it'll probably be an internal one. Just need to find someone to install it for me.
Yeah, because I was just
like
looking
I've never installed like physical hardware into my PC. My PC was built by a company that's no longer in business, so I haven't touched a thing on it in terms of like upgrading parts.
Yeah, that's fair.
Because I know how careful you have to be with those.
Yeah, I was asking because I was just looking up on Monoprice just out of curiosity, and
oh no, Monoprice isn't going to have anything to do with that. No, capture cards are like a piece of hardware that you plug your console into that allows you to capture the footage on a PC.
Oh, okay, because it was like they had.
It's not a cable thing. It's down to
I know
just this
that.
being
It's
a
an
temperamental
actual
piece of hardware.
No, I know that. It's like I found like a Blackbird 4K HDMI audio. It's an audio extractor, not a capture card.
Yeah, that's not why I'm looking at.
Yeah,
I appreciate the attempt.
Yeah, I mean, I try to help my friends where I can.
The other thing is just I need to find a time when I have enough money at one time with no other expenses that month to spend on something as big as a capture card purchase.
Yeah. How much do they run you for anyway?
It depends on what model you're buying. Internal capture cards tend to be a bit cheaper, but like the one that I got that I use now, when it was new, it was like $250.
Spyro.
Yeah, it all depends on what brand and what model you're looking at. You can get generic ones like Nerdy Furret has, but those have spotty performance due to them not using like a dedicated supplier of parts. They just use like whatever they can get a hold of, which often leads to them not having the performance that they advertise on the box. Always go name brand when buying capture cards, unless you have a really specific need for like oddball resolutions that you need to capture, which is what those generic ones are actually really good for. I'm also due for an upgrade on my GPU. I've got a 3060, and it's about time I upgrade to one of the 40 series. And I could probably do with a CPU upgrade as well. I'm just not going to do it all at once.
Yeah.
Because those individually are all expensive parts.
That's fair.
But a friend of mine pointed me towards a seller on Amazon that's selling a model of the 4060 for about $300, which is within my price range for when I actually have money.
Yeah.
I just need to make sure it's compatible with my motherboard. It should be. It should be. But, you know, better safe than $300 in the hole.
Right.
Also, never buy PC parts off of Wish or Temu or anything like that.
No.
One of my favorite YouTube channels, Ashens, did a video where he built a PC using only parts he bought from Wish. And it barely functioned, mostly because the GPU that he bought from Wish wasn't obviously not actually the GPU that it was claiming to be. It was like over a decade old GPU that was flashed with custom firmware to trick the PC into thinking it was a newer one. Like, if you're seeing something that's supposed to be top-of-the-line hardware being sold for under $100, you're not getting what they say it is.
Yeah, no. Let's see what else.
I'm thinking,
It's good mate.
I'm thinking after this stage, I'll probably switch over to Metal Gear Solid 3.
Okay.
Like, I was debating, should I finish Peacekeepers first? But, honestly, I feel like we can come back to this soon enough. Might do it on Thursday. Like, I have Thursday as TBA, depending on how I'm feeling from my weight loss shot.
Oh, yeah.
Also, TBA, depending on what I feel like streaming that night.
Right.
Right now, it's a toss. It also depends on whether we finish Metal Gear Solid 3 earlier than anticipated or not. Because we're in, like, in the Metal Gear Solid 3 playthrough, we're towards the end of the game, but given that this is a Metal Gear game, that's still going to take several hours. Purely from cutscenes. And then after that, I'm debating whether, like, which game in the saga to move on to next, because there's technically 2 entries that come after Metal Gear Solid 3 pretty close to each other, that one of which is Metal Gear Solid 4, which follows up on Metal Gear Solid 2's cliffhanger. And then there's Portable Ops, which I've never played and had no interest in playing until it was recently confirmed, finally, as a canon entry in the series. So I kind of have to play it now.
Well, Spyro. Dragons thought you weren't ready, but I knew they were wrong.
The difference is, like, Metal Gear Solid 4 continues where Metal Gear Solid 2 left off. Portable Ops continues where 3 leaves off. And then that more or less segues into Peace Walker, which will lead us into Metal Gear Solid 5. And I'll also have to do Rising at some point, because it wouldn't be... I wouldn't be a Metal Gear fan if I didn't extol the virtues of Metal Gear Solid. I was about to say Metal Gear Solid Rising. No, that was the canceled version of the game. If I didn't extol the virtues of Platinum Games' Metal Gear Rising, one of their de facto masterpieces.
Spyro, it's a big Norks overhead are wearing armor. And in the ice cave, armor can make their feet very slippery.
Thank you for releasing me.
That's not who I thought that was.
You want to know something that ruined Norks for me forever?
What?
I learned this from Cat Icarus's video on the Spyro series. Norks is British slang for boobs.
Because of course it is.
They have so many slang terms for boobs over in the UK.
Yeah. Well, they got so many fucking slang terms that we didn't realize in the UK. Like, for example, slag.
Yeah, slag. Slag being the stickler for Transformers fans.
Yeah. Aside from, Megatron not being a gun anymore.
I mean, in terms of naming.
Oh, yeah, of course. But honestly, I think Slug works fine.
That and the Rumble Frenzy debacle.
Yeah. Yeah, because, I don't know exactly what, the original intention was, if Rumble was supposed to be the red one, or if it was Frenzy was supposed to be red. But the cartoon, for me, I watched the cartoon first, so when I first saw Rumble and Frenzy, Rumble was the blue one, Frenzy was red. It's all there is to it.
My introduction to Rumble and Frenzy was actually War for Cybertron, the game.
Yeah.
So, for me, Rumble was red and Frenzy was blue.
Surprisingly enough, Rumble was actually blue in that game, because you could tell it was Rumble because...
Was he?
Yeah.
It's been forever since I played it.
The reason I'll explain. I'll let you in a little tip. The reason why you could tell that the blue one is Rumble is because Rumble actually comes out with pile drivers for hands, and he's blue.
I'm just trying. You fought one of them, and it was Rumble. I just can't remember what color he was. You've got me questioning my own memory now. As if my memory hasn't been spotty enough. As I've said many times, I have a very unphotographic memory.
Yep.
Less photographic memory and more doodle memory.
Yeah, I tell people, it's and see, this is not gonna be a joke that I've stolen from you. I flat out admit I've stolen a lot of them. I've stolen and rehashed a lot of your old jokes as my own from time to time in my own private circles. But one is completely original to me. Is I tell people it's my memory is just scrambled, because for whatever reason, throughout my teenage years, my memory did get scrambled. I don't know how or why, but I remember things differently from what they were actually supposed to be.
You've got me craving scrambled eggs now. The problem is I don't know if the eggs in the fridge are expired or not.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing like, and if you're watching for it, or if you happen to be watching this in the future, let me just say, there is nothing like a good plate of expired scrambled eggs.
That delivery had the same energy as nothing beats a jelly-filled donut.
Yeah, right. Oh, God. I swear I'm not high, people. I'm just naturally insane.
Yeah, if Kier was here, he'd probably be the high one.
Yeah, no, he's always high. Or drunk.
No, not always. Sometimes he's drunk.
Yeah, or both. Sometimes both.
Yeah, sometimes both.
I think he was high tonight, actually. I think, from what I understand, I think he was playing Pokemon.
He was playing Pokemon Mystery Dungeon.
Yeah, I think he said he was high.
I think he also moved on to playing Zenless Zone Zero at one point, which I need to get back into playing that because Jane Doe finally released, and I need to get her because she is mommy.
Yeah, I've been rewatching the trailer for Jane Doe quite a bit.
Oh, they have a newer trailer for her now that shows off some of her combat techniques, and in that one, it confirms that, as Fur would say, she goes on the danger waifu list.
Yep. Honestly, like
I've seen what that tail can do, and I do not want it anywhere near my junk.
Yeah. Like, I'm trying to see, like, I know she's, like, mostly human, but, like, she's also got, like,
she's
the
a
tail
rat.
in the ear.
She's a rat.
Yeah. I wasn't sure if she was a rat, because I know, like, she doesn't have, like, a lot of rat features, except for that tail.
She's got the ears and the tail. She's a rat.
Yeah. Like, I've seen rat ears, though. They're pointed, not round, but, you know, semantics.
Rat ears are not always pointed. It depends on what variety of rat you're looking at.
Oh. Well,
keep in mind, the game's developed in China.
That's fair. Yeah, the game is developed in China. That's all I'm gonna do there.
Just gotta find a place to save, because this game doesn't auto-save like Spyro 2 onwards would do, unfortunately.
Yeah. Hey, asshole!
You rang?
Good shot. Not you. I was talking to the Nork.
Why are you talking to titties? Why were you talking to a singular tibby? And with that, let's switch on over to the BRB screen while I swap out HDMI cables and get the PS5 booted up.
Yes, and while you're doing that, I'm gonna go refill my water.
I'll play some music.